President Cyril Ramaphosa has told Belgium that South Africa is actively seeking investment in the energy sector with a particular focus on renewables. He was speaking at the SA-Belgium Business Forum this week and hailed the European nation's proven track record in developing and implementing innovation renewable energy solutions. Both countries are exploring ways to create sustainable and environmentally friendly energy solutions that mutually are beneficial. Let's discuss this further with Renesh Thakoordeen, who is from the CSIR, and he is the energy storage Testbed project leader. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. It's interesting that the president is speaking about renewable energy when our coal-fired power stations are not working to full capacity. How important is it for the president at this stage to be punting the message that South Africa is looking at all forms of different energy supply given the state that we are in?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Heidi. It's an interesting topic. I think when it comes to energy access and energy security, we do need to look at what's available. Right now, it seems like renewable energy is the easiest, quickest, most effective way and the cheapest way to actually generate electricity. So I think when we look at what's available, renewables are on top of the list. It should be a priority to get renewables deployed and on the grid as soon as we can.
So speak to us about whether or not, I know you say that it's an urgent matter, but is this going to take us out of this dark hole that we are actually in at this stage? Give us the necessary megawatts. The Minister of Electricity this past week on his tours to different power stations, coal-fired power stations, he indicated that the magic number is about 6,000 megawatts. How much of that are we able to get from renewable energy? And is that really the answer to get us out of this very dark spot that we are in at the moment?
Yes, so a priority would be to repair and have continuous maintenance on coal-fired power stations. That is the quickest way we could come out of load shedding. Your other options are to build new plants. Now, I think in a coal-fired situation, a coal-fired plant would take far too long to build. A renewable plant doesn't take that long. It takes probably less than half the time. So it is a quicker solution. So if you look at a PV plant, you could build a number of PV plants, and there's a number of other technologies we could look at as well. We could look at wind power and thermal storage, energy storage, batteries. There's a number of solutions we could explore to supplement the grid. We can't, if we look at batteries alone, that's not going to end load shedding. It's part of the solution, yes, but it's not the whole solution. It needs to be coupled with a PV solution or a wind solution. This is the ideal energy mix that we do need.
Renesh, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are around why government hasn't necessarily accelerated the implementation of renewable energy. Because when you look at South Africa, we have sun almost 365 days of the year. We have sun almost every day. You've mentioned wind as well. And one would think that this should be one of government's top priorities in trying to bring an end to the rolling blackouts, given we have the sun and we have the wind. Why do you think it's taking so long to implement renewable energy?
That's a very, very good question. It's not an easy answer, I believe. There's a lot of talk when it comes to the just energy transition. We do need to keep in mind that we do have a high unemployment rate, and we cannot contribute to that high unemployment rate. We do need to have a steady transition through. We cannot leave anyone behind. We are only as fast as our slowest walker. So I think we do need to take into consideration that we will move to a cleaner grid. How quickly that happens is entirely up to policy. There's no doubt that a lot of businesses and households are looking at PV solutions coupled with batteries, wind solutions. There's a lot of talk about that, and there's been a big demand over the past year or so. And that's led to a backlog in delivering things like solar panels and batteries. Anyone who has tried to get solar panels and batteries has been told there's been a 3 to 6 month backlog. So there's a lot of going on. You need to consider a lot of points. But when it comes to coal, I think it does have a place for now, at least. But considering climate change, we do need to move a little bit more quicker, in my opinion.
Yes, let's actually move into that aspect of this discussion, because there are calls for us to have cleaner and greener energy supply. We do know that an exemption was granted in terms of Kusile's limitations, and now they're going to be able to basically push Kusile's capabilities a lot faster now that that exemption has been granted by the Department of Environment. But how important is it for South Africa to also consider that aspect? I know right now the priority is get us out of this energy crisis that we are facing, but we also can't forget the environmental implications that need to be considered in all of this. And renewable is obviously seen as a lot more cleaner and greener.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. Renewable is 100% cleaner, and it is better. There is a lot of discussion around recycling and repurposing, but we are part of the World Bank Energy Storage Partnership that looks at the repurposing and recycling of batteries. So there is a lot of research going into it. We're not 100% there yet, but we will be very soon. The thing to consider also about coal-fired power stations is that it does produce baseload power. That is very important. It also provides inertia on the grid. It's a bit of a technical consideration, but it does help stabilize the frequency as well. When you look at pump storage schemes, you have the synchronized condensed operation mode. So South Africa does already make use of hydropower and PV and wind, if you look down in Port Elizabeth. I think the future of the country does look like we are moving, like the rest of the world, towards PV. It's just taking us a bit longer in South Africa.
Well, let's see what happens in the next coming months with this new Minister of Electricity. We thank you so much for your time. That was Renesh Thakoordeen, who's the CSIR Energy Storage Testbed Project Leader.